Enfold Proactive Health Trust, Creating Safe Spaces, presents Demystifying Sexuality, a video series. How to discuss sexuality with adolescents. Presented by Dr. Sangeeta Saxena, co-founder, Enfold Proactive Health Trust, obstetrician and gynecologist.
Talking to adolescents is about addressing the concerns, looking at the concerns that they may have behind a statement they have made. It's about giving them information that they may not have. And most of all, it is about sharing your experiences from the time that you were an adolescent in an authentic manner, without airbrushing it, without leaving out some details, because that is where they will pick up the values that you believe in, the dilemmas that you faced, the concerns that you had, and how you navigated through that. The adolescents today, yes, the social milieu is vastly different from what people of my age had. But the emotions, the physical development, the cognitive development is pretty much the same. They go through the same concerns, the same embarrassment, the same pride, and sometimes a little shyness as the pubertal changes happen in their bodies and as they begin to explore their sexuality, their sexual attractions, or lack of it, as the case may be. Adolescence is a time when nature has primed the individual to take risks. And in that, it helps in survival, it helps in expansion of the species, in becoming independent, taking your own decisions. But in doing so, the adolescent is primed to take risks, but they don't want to get hurt necessarily. The adolescents are also primed to form very strong peer bonds. And peers are the ones that we spend time with, we maybe study together, we form intimate bonds with, we go with our peers for our leisure activities. So instead of ridiculing, oh, your friends are very important now and I don't matter, instead of that, we can support the adolescents in forming relationships, in forming friendships that are mutually respectful and they honor each other's rights. They need to know that you care about them, their well-being, and not maybe your family honor, what people will say, what your friends will say, how it lands on other people, maybe in your extended family. No. So there, when you share your anecdotes, when you share your stories, this is what catches them. This is what has been a very interesting mode of learning since millennia. We love stories, the real life stories. So talk about them and tell them stories from your life, from the stories of other people's lives that you have heard of, and leave it open-ended. Don't end your story with a moral, with a judgment, with this is what we derive from here. Leave it to the adolescent, because the adolescent's prefrontal cortex is developing. They are learning to weigh the risks. They are learning to weigh balance their desires, their needs with their consequences and risks that they may face. And your stories will help them understand these better, because unlike you, they have not had so many experiences. Discussing sexuality with adolescents is not a one-time episode. It's like a serial that just goes on. It will go on probably through the life of the individual. And choose a time that works for both of you, or for if there are more people involved. And don't just barge in and invade their privacy and say, I have this thing that I want to talk to you about. Have an interest in this from the other party, find out and just say, there's something that I want to discuss, when is a good time, when can we get together. It's a little personal, but it's also a little, private, but it's important that we have this conversation. And that sets the stage for such conversations. Another important time would be when something is coming in the news. Something is a hot topic, something you're watching on television, or there's something in a serial or somewhere in the news, something has happened. And that would be a good starting point also to talk about sexuality and the way we experience it. We are often asked, what is a good time in terms of age of the child? When do we start having these conversations? Well, sexuality actually is a conversation that begins with the birth of the child and the way your body language is and all of that. But once puberty begins, or even in the pre-adolescence, I would say around 9 years onwards, is the time to start having these conversations and remove any shame or guilt around it. And something that we commonly hear is, this is your 9th grade, this is your 10th grade, your 12th grade exam, what is all this you are involved in, what is this I hear, this is not your time. No, this is the time. Then how can we overlook the emotional aspect of it? That will also happen. And if we negate it and if we say, this is not okay, this is not your time, then they will go elsewhere. And who else is invested in the well-being of the adolescent than their parents, their teachers, their counselors, the social workers, all the responsible adults around them. Check your own position. Where are you coming from? Is it this one particular incident that you are concerned about? This one particular behavior when the adolescent has done something that you don't approve of? Or is it the long-term view? Are you coming from a position of being an adversary? I told you so, you didn't listen. How many times I've told you not to do this? Is it an adversarial position? Is it like, I know better and you don't know? Of course they'll know less. Obviously, they have lived life lesser than you have. So checking these positions, being on the same team player, that is what we are looking at. Not, I told you so and I'm right, you are wrong, you are young, you have to learn from me. No, we learn from each other. They are living in a different social milieu. We lived in a different, our adolescence was in a different social milieus. The risks, the pressures, the things that they have to deal with, we haven't dealt with that when we were adolescents. So what will help them navigate? It's our values. So we need to bring that out. Values have not changed. We still value friendship. We still value honesty. We still value respect for each other, consent. Sometimes the adolescent may say or do something, or you may discover something that makes you really angry and upset. Take a deep breath. Whatever has happened has happened. This too shall pass. It's okay. Think back on your own adolescence. Think of the times that you did things that later you probably yourself regretted. But you did them. And what did you need at that time from your safe adult? What did you need? Maybe acceptance? Maybe some kind of empathy, understanding, listening, and maybe support. So don't take away that safety net. Don't say that if you do this, then I'm there for you. But if you do that, then I'm not there for you. Because if you are not there, who else is there for the adolescent? No, don't take away the safety net. Always be there for the adolescent. Let them know that whatever they may do, they can still come and talk to you about it. And they will find an empathetic listening ear. It does not mean that you have to agree with everything. Yeah? Understanding is understanding. And agreement is different. But be there for the child, be there for the adolescent. So they can come back and they can talk. So another very important aspect is the adolescent is now growing into an adult and they need as much space and privacy as you may provide to any other adult. So be respectful of that and also know that they want trust. They want you to trust them and then they will trust you. But at the same time, do educate yourself also. Be open to change. Be open to question your long-held beliefs because as science progresses, as more information becomes available, we may come across things that we have held on to which were completely not based on any fact. So now I'm going to talk about some anecdotes, some incidents that parents have shared with us and counselors have shared with us over the years. Parents shared about how their child, a little older, maybe 8th grade, 9th grade, had gone to a party and with all their family's friends, and when they were returning, the adolescent began to share that that person was there and I like him very much. So the parents said, all right, so what happened? So I went up and told him that I like you. So So the parent said, fine. What did the person say? Nothing. They didn't say anything. So the parent said, well, yeah, it happens like that. Sometimes we like a person very much, but they don't like us back. And that's the way things are. Maybe we wait and watch, but you never know. So, and that was that. Again, the parent here helped the child navigate through this feeling. They may be feeling embarrassed that I told the person I like you and the person doesn't like them back. They may be feeling ashamed. They may be feeling angry. So many things. But the parent just normalized it. Yeah, these things happen. Another parent talked about how they were discussing the basis for a romantic relationship. And the child may be a little older now, 9th grade, 10th grade, and they just asked the child, any special friends? And the adolescent said, yeah. Okay, so do I know the person? No, you don't really know the person. This person is in my school and I like him very much. Okay, so would you like to tell me some more about him? So the child said, well, I like him, he's nice, gentle and all that, nice to talk to. We have a lot of fun together. But you know, he's not that good in academics. Now the parent knew that this child was gifted in the traditional academic subjects. So the parent said, does that bother you at all? So the child then said, well, actually, I know I'm going out with him out of pity. So now what's this? Out of pity, why? Well, because he likes me a lot. So even though I don't like him all that much, but it's kind of okay. So the parent then said, well, you are free to like whom you like and not like whom you don't like. And you don't have to be under any kind of pressure to like a person back just because they like you. So it's you know, it's your call. And sure enough, after a few months, she had broken up. As a parent, obviously was aware that something coming out of pity is not going to last very long. So this parent helped the child understand that the basis for a romantic relationship could be more autonomous, could be more independent, and not really dependent on what the other person is feeling. Now, I have been using the word parent, but it could be a counselor in a school, could be a teacher that the adolescent is comfortable with, could be a social worker in the community, could be a neighbor, could be anyone that the child or the adolescent is comfortable with. So this parent asked their child, their adolescent was probably in 10th grade at that point, and said, so Valentine's Day is coming up, so what's up? And the adolescent said, well, actually I want to give a gift to my special friend. So the parent said, okay, I'll get you a big bar of chocolate. Is that good? Yeah, that's good, but get me 2. One for the friend and one for his best friend. You know, they're always together, so I want to give that person also. So the parent went and bought 2 big bars of chocolate and gave it. Now, it may sound odd that I'm talking about a parent buying a Valentine gift for their adolescent, but this is happening now. If the adolescent doesn't have access to money and they want to give a gift, that lack of access of money is not going to stop them. They are going to get around this. They are going to go and get that gift somehow. So it's much better if the parent is open, finds out what they want to do, and make that happen. In a very transparent, everybody understands what is happening here. There is no hide and seek going on. There is no lies being told. Now, if you have been talking with the adolescent very openly, they are going to also test your limits. They're going to test your boundaries. They're going to use words that may surprise you. So here's what happened with the adolescent and parent. And the adolescent announced that I'm going out with my special friend. On this Saturday, we'll be going out. All right, said the parent. Where are you going? Pizza Hut. Okay. How many of you are going? Well, just me and my partner. Okay. Wouldn't it be better if you went out in a group, like 3, 4 of your friends, 3, 4 of your friends' friends, and you all go out together? So the adolescent called the bluff and she said, "What is this? Why should we go out in a group? Are you afraid that we will have wild sex in Pizza Hut?" So the parent said, "Well, you can't have wild sex in Pizza Hut. All of us know that. But the first day you will go to Pizza Hut. Maybe the second time round you may go to a movie hall. And the third day, third meeting, and before the parent could finish, their 11-year-old younger child was listening, and that child piped in and said, "And the third day, you will go to the end of a desolate street." So the parent took that cue and said, "See, if the idea can come to an 11-year-old that let's go to the end of a desolate street, certainly the idea will come to two 16-year-olds. Because it's natural, it's normal to want to explore each other, to explore each other in a sensual and sexual way, to kiss, to hold, to hug, to touch. It's normal. And if it is happening, if this is happening in a place where there is privacy and it's a desolate place, then the nature is actually pushing both the bodies towards a sexual activity that you may not be prepared for. So the idea is, if you are not ready for sex at this point of time in your life and face the consequences that sex can bring, pregnancy being one of them, then it is better not to meet in a place where sex is possible. It is not enough to rely on your self-control and say, "You know what, I am not going to have sex. No, not now. I'm only in 10th grade. I'm only in 11th or 12th. I don't want to have sex now." It's not going to happen, because as kissing begins to happen, there's exchange of hormones, the more sexual hormones are released from the brain, and that little voice at the back of the head that says, "Not now, not today. What if something happens?" That voice gets drowned. Now, this desolate place, this private place that you're thinking of meeting, there the danger comes from other people, the public. There may be people who chance upon this couple and then they may sexually assault them. So it is better if space is created for young people to meet together in like we have cafe coffee days, Pizza Huts and places like that, or ask the adolescent bring their special friend home while you are there at home. Adolescents seem to have a great faith in contraceptive methods, and they feel that it's 100% safe. There is nothing 100% safe. It's only abstinence which is 100% safe. Every other contraceptive method has failure rates, has side effects. So it's important to let the adolescent know about that, and as well as the laws around these adolescent sexuality that exist today. It's important for them to know it. Currently in India, the POCSO Act says that anyone below 18 cannot give any consent. And I have spoken with boys who have been, put under this kind of legal liability. And they've told me, "Ma'am, if I had known about this law, I wouldn't have done anything like this." It's important that they know. Of course, the law has its own, an adolescent has to be treated different from a child. Their biological needs are different. Their hormones are different. Their nature is pushing them towards sexual activity. And they also desire that sexual activity. So the law is criminalizing it. There are issues with that. And if you find that the child is gender non-conforming, support your child and let them know that they can express themselves, they can dress the way they want, choose the colors, the kind of toys, the kind of games or sports they want to play, extracurricular activities, subjects, because we have gone ahead and gendered everything. So they can do as they wish. It is their right to express themselves, and they don't have to, look at, oh, is it okay by my this friend, is it okay by my that uncle and by that friend and that teacher, what will this one say, what will that one say? No, they have a right to express, be there for the child, and help them develop and express their uniqueness in a way that they wish to. And in this, they are not really infringing on anybody's rights, are they? No. The trans adolescent children who were born with intersex variations, they need extra support right from childhood, but more so when puberty begins and the physical changes begin to happen. They may experience distress, dysphoria. They may feel that their body is going out of control and they can't stop all these changes that are happening, or they wished some other changes were happening. So they may need extra support, and people are there. They can reach out to queer affirmative counselors, to sensitive and expert medical advice, those who have had training in these areas. You can also support them in their day-to-day lives. So there was this child, this girl, who did not want to wax her legs or arms, and she used to play football. And she went to the counselor and told the counselor that, listen, my friends and people who are other people playing the sport with me, they come up to me and say, for heaven's sake, wax your legs. I don't know what to do. I don't want to wax my legs, and they are taunting me, and this is happening. So the counselor then supported the adolescent and said, this is not okay for people to be doing all this. You have every right to be the way you are, and it's absolutely fine. And then the adolescent was sent back, and the counselor then held gender sensitization and diversity in gender and sexuality sessions for the entire middle school and high school students. So that is the way to build discourse around this, build a supportive community, because for trans children, for children with the intersex variation, depression, anxiety is very high. Suicide rates are also very high. We need to make space for this diversity in our homes, in our schools, in our community, in our neighborhoods, respect each other and care for each other. Coming to sexual orientation. Discussions around this may have been happening in the family or in the school or in the community right from the time the child was younger, and the child may have internalized homophobia. And so that may also be making them feel very strange about who they are inside and question it and feel guilt about it. The idea of sexuality education is that we can support a person to experience their sexuality, which is inherent in them, which is a part of them, without any guilt or shame. Here we can support our transgender children, our intersex children, our children with non-heteronormative heterosexual orientation in understanding themselves and in respecting themselves, respecting the feelings they have and the way they want to express it. And we can support them in being responsible about it, in the sense that not hurting or harming either themselves or the other. So here it's important to have those discussions, and also to educate oneself in what is the understanding around this, what is found in nature. Is it really a crime to have a different orientation? No, it is not. So this is how parents can and counselors can understand. They can take special courses around it. They can educate themselves. They can take courses like queer affirmative counseling. Parents can find support groups, or they can reach out to counselors who are trained in this to help the child accept themselves. Now, all of this can sound very daunting. How can I speak all this? How can I say all this? Well, you can always begin by practicing with your friend, with your neighbors. Ask them to pretend to be an adolescent and pose questions and counter questions and say things that adolescents may say. And another practice that really helps is to use some aspects of restorative practices, which is of course spoken about in another video, So there are many ways then to engage with adolescents. And the thing to keep in mind is that we can be open-minded, we can be non-judgmental, accepting and respectful. And so happy talking with your adolescents, and all the best. Take care.
This video is part of a series of videos and learning content aimed at addressing gender-based violence. These videos provide practitioner perspectives by professionals and experts in the field. We hope these videos generate further discussions with peers, family members and teachers, encourage curiosity, and seed further research ideas in these domains. We gratefully acknowledge the following for their support: Gaurav Krishna, Keshav Rajendran, Ishwar Shankar, Mohan Ram, Clockwork Captions, Enfold Consultants, Ford Foundation. The copyright and other intellectual property rights in respect of this video belong exclusively to Enfold Proactive Health Trust, Enfold. Enfold licenses this video under the terms of Creative Commons License CC BY-NC-ND 4.0, the details of which can be found at https://creativecommonlicense.org/licenses/by-NC-ND/4.0/. Any use or reproduction of this video contrary to or in violation of the terms of the aforesaid Creative Commons license will be illegal, and Enfold reserves the right to take suitable action in respect thereof. Enfold also reserves the right to modify, terminate or revoke the license granted as aforesaid, or otherwise exercise any and all rights in respect of its intellectual property without further notice, and the same shall be binding on the licensee or user or reader thereof. June 2021. Enfold Proactive Health Trust. www.enfoldindia.org. Contact info@enfoldindia.org. +91 99 000 94251. www.enfoldindia.org.